A man in his early 30s is trying to date in 2024. It seems like men have to navigate a complex set of challenges to attract women. Do not get physical too soon, or she may think you are only interested in sex. If you do not get physical soon enough, you risk being placed in the friend zone. Show interest, but not excessively, or you risk appearing desperate. Do not be overly available at the beginning. Maintain an element of mystery. You need to escalate the relationship, but not too quickly, or you risk overwhelming her. Everything seems to present a dilemma when it comes to dating advice for men. Story 1. You are correct, and people will offer criticisms and platitudes because it feels satisfying, but the reality is that it can be harsh for most men. My best advice, which I do not always follow myself, is to avoid wasting time and energy on women who require you to do all the effort. Be prepared to eliminate women who do not match your energy, even if that means being single for a while. I strive to be open and honest, trusting that the right woman will appreciate my honesty and reciprocate it. Unfortunately, the ratio of attractive, low-key, healthy women to superficial, misandrist, sensationalized media is quite discouraging. The best approach is to ensure that your cynicism does not influence how you treat new women in your life. Story 2. I have always been the person who loves more than he receives in return. It is just my nature, or perhaps a result of unresolved childhood issues. I have consistently shown genuine interest and acted naturally. This has led me into many relationships, but I have not managed to sustain any of them. After another unsuccessful relationship some time ago, I realized that the whole "just be yourself" advice was not effective. So, I made a conscious effort to stop investing so much energy. I have experienced significantly more success since becoming more reserved, and I truly dislike that it is the case. The less interest I display after initially showing attraction, the more interested they seem to be in me. However, it feels unnatural. I do not like withholding my feelings or lacking a distinct personality. But being myself has never captured a woman's interest. Now that I expect them to earn my attention and respond minimally, they show me greater interest. It is honestly quite troubling. I recently ended a relationship because I did not want to force myself to behave that way indefinitely. As I started to open up more, I noticed her interest diminishing shortly thereafter. I have enough experience to recognize when it is time to let go. Story 3. There is a poem by Samuel Beckett that includes this quote: "If you don't love me, I shall not be loved. If I don't love you, I shall not love." The meaning I extract from this, which resonates with me, is that I want to experience the emotions of being in love. If those feelings are not reciprocated, so be it. I don't want to live in a perpetual state of anxiety, always wondering if I am doing the right thing or if I am showing my feelings too much. I have honestly moved beyond caring about the success of my romantic life. I don't care about winning. I have lost enough to become comfortable with losing. I do not care if I am loved or liked back, and I don't think for even a moment about the amount of interest I show to a woman. I like her, I am being myself, and I enjoy my feelings while they last. If they aren't reciprocated, so be it. I still get to experience all the excitement and fun, even if it ends before I wanted. At the end of the day, it is very possible that I will not get anything more than this. Loving without being loved back is infinitely better than having no love at all. I think the mistake most people make is lingering on those feelings despite the lack of reciprocity. There comes a point when you need to accept that this person isn't for you and move on. Story 4. I was completely enamored with my significant other and stared at her constantly. She found it a bit intense, but enjoyed my company and generally liked everything about me, so she became accustomed to that intensity. For my part, I thought she would get bored with me at any moment or realize that we were in different leagues, so I cherished every moment of being next to her. That was 3 years ago, and we are both equally obsessed with each other now. Story 5. Show genuine interest and avoid childish games. If she requires such behavior, she can look for a boyfriend in kindergarten, middle school, or elsewhere. Story 6. You are in your 30s. Leave all that unnecessary behavior to the insecure younger individuals and just communicate. Transmit the required information. I would like. How do you feel about? Would it be okay if? 2. Receive feedback. I would like it if. Yes. No, thank you. How about this instead? 3. Accept feedback. Proceed from there. Story 7. If you see a person who genuinely wants to be with you, none of this matters because they won't be looking for a reason to leave. Half of this advice assumes you want a woman who is undecided but open to persuasion, but that type of person is often looking for any reason to say no. The other half assumes that she is already in love and is trying to prevent you from taking advantage. The truth is that both perspectives are flawed because the first one doesn't lead to a worthwhile relationship, and the second assumes you are a predator by default. Story 8. You are overthinking it. None of that matters when you find the person you should be with. The relationships that don't work out weren't meant to succeed. If they are meant to work, they will find a way. Story 9. Be yourself. Do whatever you are most comfortable with. She will either say otherwise, or you two are not compatible enough to make it work in the first place. Story 10. It's impossible until it isn't. The reason you feel anxious is that these women simply aren't as interested in you as you are in them. When the right person comes along, it will feel easy, as if there's nothing you can do to mess it up. Story 11. I go at whichever of our two paces is slower. If I need to engage in games with her, I'm not interested, and that isn't sustainable. If she stops talking to me because I didn't follow the recommendations of the latest tabloid or social media trend, she's doing me a favor. It's a feeling thing. I'm normally very reliant on logic and planning, but if I'm trying to derive formulas to maximize her attraction to me, it isn't a good match. Story 12. The only rules that matter are communication and consent in 2024. I would rather risk turning a woman off by asking if I can be physically affectionate than risk misinterpreted signals that confuse me and cross a line. I ended up in the friend zone by not being clear about my intentions or by playing the long game. If she just wants to be friends, you can say no, especially if you make it clear you are interested in dating or relationships. Story 13. The issue I see is that dating is treated as a method to achieve something, but every successful relationship I've had was based on being authentic and respectful. Categorizing it in this way or believing there is a magical formula is not the solution. Story 14. It seems like you might be overthinking things. I'm not saying those thoughts are wrong, but every person you meet will be different. If I were you, I would just ensure that you're not being creepy or inappropriate, that they feel safe in your company, and that you don't push back if they reject you or don't seem interested. It's a cliche, but just be yourself and eventually you'll find someone like you. Story 15. You know what helped me? If she really liked me, it was easy to be forward with things. It was easy to be physical and make moves. It was easy to see her. It was fun to be mysterious and keep her guessing. If a woman declines my invitation or my attempt to kiss her, then it's her loss. In summary, if she really likes you, she will do her part to make it fun and maintain the attraction. Obviously, you can't be too clingy or too distant, but the balance is wider. To summarize further, if she truly likes you, you have a lot of leeway in managing the dynamics of interest. Story 16. I've stopped wasting energy and resources on women who don't show interest in me. I approach those who stare and smile at me. I'm not playing these games anymore. Story 17. Women are not a formula or a secret code. Use that information as guidelines and remember that women are individuals, and different individuals want different things in a partner. Story 18. As far as physical affection, steadily escalate as long as she is comfortable. For non-physical affection, stay one step behind her. Never express more interest in her than she has expressed in you. I believe the second item is particularly important. Nothing turns women off more than a man who shows too much interest. While the above advice is what I find most reliable, you are correct that it can be challenging. There are no guarantees. Story 19. Don't be too available at the start. Play hard to get. Don't be too available because you are genuinely busy going about your life. If you are not busy, find more to do with your time or put more effort into what you are already doing. Story 20. Think of it as being balanced. Like a boxer in the ring, you are loose and reading the defense. You are ready to retreat or attack at any moment. You don't always retreat, or you will lose the fight on points. You don't chase the knockout, or you could get knocked out yourself. You are basically doing your thing. How you respond depends on what your opponent gives you. It should be more of a game, not an objective. There are even bad dates I went on where I still managed to have a good time. Story 21. I was in a long-term relationship throughout my 20s, which ended when I was 31. After that, I felt like I had stepped out of a time machine in terms of dating. As someone interested in politics from a critical perspective and identifying as a leftist, I have come to realize over the past year and a half that the confusion in the dating scene stems from how customizable the world has become for everyone. The products we use every day are no longer general items designed to meet broad needs. They are aimed at addressing specific requests. We can either request these products from manufacturers or find something that already meets our needs. Additionally, the access to these diverse products is incredibly easy. One click and it's delivered within a few days. I believe this has affected our social lives as well. The contradictions we've observed are a result of this change. There used to be some tolerance. Things were not instantly labeled as red flags. A person might have flaws in one area but be acceptable in others. People were not searching for perfection. Moreover, the ease of access makes it unnecessary to step outside your comfort zone or wait for someone new to enter your workplace. You just swipe right or left in an app. Therefore, I find that dating advice is generally misguided because it tends to oversimplify people. The idea that women want this or women want that no longer holds true, just as it does not apply to men. We are not living in that kind of era. I see the solution as not dwelling on perceived failures. You are an individual. If you are being true to yourself and the person you are trying to connect with doesn't see you as the right fit because of who you are, then that individual is not the right person for you either. Focus on finding the right person for yourself rather than trying to be the perfect match for someone else. Story 22. I don't know, my friend. I've accepted my fate of being single. Good luck to you, though. I truly hope you figure it out. Story 23. The harsh reality is that it is luck-based as it depends on the woman. Some prefer you to be upfront, while others like to take things slower, and some do not want to be bothered at all. You will never really know until you take the leap of faith, which can be difficult for a man, especially since women sometimes misinterpret it as harassment. You are in serious trouble at that point. Story 24. If someone is genuinely interested in you, none of these concerns are real issues. You won't be placed in the friend zone by someone who likes you, and there are no tricks to make someone like you. The dating advice is to determine whether someone truly likes you. Anything beyond that is about having the confidence to make a move. Story 25. Dating advice can be detrimental for everyone these days. Many people feel similarly. It is hard to find someone who is on the same wavelength as you, so I tend to avoid the whole relationship scene. Don't be physical too soon, or he may think less of you. If you don't get physical soon enough, he might seek fulfillment elsewhere or leave. Show interest, but not excessively, or you may come across as desperate. Don't be overly available. Choose your role wisely. Allow him to take the lead in escalating the relationship, but avoid expressing that directly, as knowing what you want can be perceived negatively. Story 26. If she is interested in you, these rules no longer apply. In fact, a good measure of how interested a woman is in you is how comfortable she is with you, and how comfortable she allows you to be with her. Story 27. None of this really matters. The key is to be extremely attractive or to be extremely charismatic. That is it. Story 28. It doesn't matter. Just be yourself and express your sexuality in whatever way feels natural. Your role on dates is to filter for women who are interested in you, not to make them like you. Story 29. I am a guy in my early 30s trying to date in 2024. I know it won't help, but the year doesn't matter. This is just how dating goes. It has always been this way. I have seen nothing to convince me it will ever be any other way. We call it a game for a reason. The winners are those who can understand nuance, possess a small amount of social intelligence, and take the time to learn how to play. The losers spend their time complaining about bad calls or the fact that there are rules that separate them from achieving success. Your father managed, as did his and all of ours. I have met your dad or someone else's. Anyway, and he's not very bright. He's a good guy, but not very bright. If he can do it, I see no reason that the rest of us can't. Story 30. Be yourself. Move at your own pace. If that doesn't work for her or she doesn't reciprocate to some degree, she is not the one. Do not diminish yourself because you fear being alone. Story 31. Work under the assumption that those who mind do not matter, and those who matter do not mind. Be yourself as long as you are not a harmful individual, and the rest will fall into place as long as you venture outside from time to time. Story 32. It just seems like men have to navigate a challenging landscape to attract women. Perfect description, my friend. Don't give up, though. Good luck. Story 33. Mate, just be yourself. If it's meant to be, it will work. Just take opportunities to attract whoever you have your eye on. Story 34. You need to guess and hope it lands. You become more adept at picking them as a type. Curveballs are surprisingly rare. Most women are pretty basic. Just give it some time. Go on a few unsuccessful dates and you will get a feel for it. Story 35. Many people have turned this into a question of why, but I'll answer your question of how in the original post. Typically, it involves trying and failing repeatedly. Story 36. You nailed it. I would like to add that I show no interest in women until I hear they like me or think of me fondly. Then I pursue. I hated trying to figure out where I stand on the scale for girls I thought were in my league. It's much easier this way. Story 37. Look at it this way. If it's not a definite yes, it's a definite no. If she likes you and is in a good mental state to date, she'll make it easy to get to know her. If you're moving too fast for her, she'll let you know, and you can slow down. If she's moving too slowly for you, you don't have to date her. Don't be too available at the start. Play hard to get. However, this approach is misguided. Don't get attached to someone you don't know well, but don't play games. Be honest about what you want. If that's a relationship, state it. If it's a one-night stand or no strings attached, be clear upfront. There are plenty of people who lie about their motivations. Don't be one of them, and you'll be happier in the long run. As for the concept of lose-lose situations, most things in life involve walking a thin line between a few outcomes to reach the one you desire. There's no point in complaining about it. It's just the cost of admission. Story 38. All those games won't matter if she is actually into you. I have always been myself, and if she does not like it, then I move on. It just means we are not compatible, so there is no point in wasting time. Story 39. Really? 18 hours and no one has mentioned Goldilocks? Everyone has a just right zone, and the whole point of dating is to find someone who fits in yours just as you fit in theirs. The bad news is that everyone's zones have gotten smaller or more skewed by the internet, making it harder. Story 40. The problem is that as men, we carry the burden of performance. This performance entails the ability to pay for dates, provide protection, demonstrate leadership, and ensure security. If you are capable of these things, you do not want to position yourself to beg or chase a woman to allow you to do it. She probably won't appreciate it. The best approach is to reserve your effort for the woman who shows high interest. A woman should earn these things from you, and the woman who does will be worth all the attention, affection, and effort you have to give. You will never have to guess or worry if you are doing too much because she will be hoping and waiting for you to do it. I know this may be new or sound strange, but trust me, there's no better feeling than a woman you are interested in who also shows high interest in you. She will demonstrate her interest through her actions. She will offer things to you and try to make your life easier. She will invest in you and compliment you. Save your performance for her. Story 41. My parents have a loving relationship. I won't date a girl who doesn't allow me to express my affection. It's not working yet, but I really don't want to settle. The only girls who seem interested in me are the ones I'm not interested in. Story 42. People need to stop overthinking. Women are not a puzzle, and the female body is not a prize. For the love of God, be who you are, and you will attract the right person for you. It will be genuine and natural. If you have to play a role to attract someone, you will have to maintain that role for as long as you are together. When the mask slips, they will feel that it was all a lie and that they never really knew who you are. Story 43. Flagging the entire situation regarding homelessness is a serious concern. Can seem overwhelming, but we must approach it with a balanced perspective. Story 44. The key is not to stress it, let her decide when. Most women do not really know what they want, so they may not tell you directly, but they will give you choosing signs when the time is right to move. If she is attracted to you, the window will open. If she is not, then the window will not open, or she may categorize you as just a friend. Based on my experience, women seldom categorize a man they actually like as just a friend. Imagine famous men like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Timothy Chalamet, and Michael B. Jordan. Do you think they are being categorized as just friends by the single women they pursue? Likely not, because these men have options, and they make this clear through their indifference. Thus, women, though potentially superficial, are often more attracted to them. When you focus less on what women want and more on being undeniably confident and self-assured, things fall into place much easier. I am not saying to avoid making an effort, but I am saying not to worry. Simply learn the choosing signs, attention, time spent together, enthusiasm towards you, and proximity, and use them to gauge her interest. Interest is defined by action, not a feeling. If she does not exhibit interest through her physical efforts, then assessing her interest is pointless. Story 45. Be considerate, listen to her, and things will fall into place. I broke several rules for my current partner. Most women have these to protect themselves. Story 46. There is no secret formula for attracting women. Just be yourself and avoid being intrusive. If you are respectful and courteous, you will find the right person for you. Story 47. Why is being a normal, well-rounded individual who respects boundaries and can carry a conversation without making it sexual such a difficult thing for many people? I will say this. Dating seems to be much harder for conservative men than for liberal men, which makes me curious about the perspectives of the individuals who complain about how challenging modern dating is. Story 48. The right amount of interest is none. You are right. There is a minefield, but it contains thousands of mines. If you step on a minefield, you are dead. You have a dog and no metal detector. The only thing you have is your foot. Who goes blindly into a minefield willingly? The desperate. Story 49. Be sincere, but do not get carried away. Much of it will depend on the maturity of the people involved. I have found that just talking to them helps. Story 50. If you feel you are walking a tightrope, it is likely because she is not interested in you. Communicate. The myth of friend zoning when something else is possible is misleading. However, remaining in contact and communicating may create possibilities in the future if you keep those lines of communication open. You must accept it if she is not interested in a physical relationship with you at this time. Move on or wait. Her circumstances and attitude towards you may change. You can learn about yourself, your boundaries, expectations, and attitudes by maintaining a friendship, which is not a bad thing. Many men do not learn self-control. What better way to demonstrate to a future partner that you have learned this lesson than by showing them you can be patient? Story 51. It is a lose-lose situation, and many women do not realize they are the problem until they are 40, barren, and clinically depressed. Why would anyone want to pursue that? Story 52. I have had great success being open about my interest in getting to know a woman better in a romantic way, while also ensuring she feels comfortable turning me down. Story 53. Before you get to any of that, you must communicate your interest without being labeled as creepy or strange. Some women may accuse you of that even if you simply look at them. People say dating is supposed to be fun. Story 54. Read Atomic Attraction and other similar books to learn how to navigate relationships. This is not simple. To answer your specific questions, 1. Never get physical first. Always let her make the first move. However, when she makes a gesture, you need to seize the opportunity without fail. Always state your interest directly and upfront. It only becomes desperate if you plead with her. In other words, there is a significant difference between saying, "I want to have a sexual relationship with you," and asking, "Will you sleep with me?" The rule is, State your intentions but never ask for anything. Do not play hard to get. It's a game for low-value individuals. Always respond promptly and expect the same in return. Your availability should depend on your own activities. Never prioritize a woman over constructive pursuits. Escalating and excessive affection are two completely different things. You should never make declarations of affection or dependent remarks early in a relationship. For example, texting things like, "I love you," or "I can't wait to see you," is a mistake because it displays dependent behavior. Use text messages only for logistical purposes. Escalating is acceptable, but do it in person. The only type of escalation you should do via text is inviting her to an activity. Story 55. That is the best part. You do not need to. Every woman's threshold in each category is very different. So finding the right combination of perfection is simply not possible. Story 56. I have come to understand that people can only feel love for me in a platonic sense, and I must accept that. Besides, I really only love money anyway. Story 57. I had many crushes pull away because I looked too eager. Honestly, it doesn't bother me. I'd rather be this way than play hard to get and not even understand her. I just try to make it easy for women. If they want to play games, then we're not compatible. Story 58. I follow this flirting strategy called push and pull. You push to show friendliness, then pull to show romantic interest, and then push again by being friendly, continuing until she likes you. Pushing can involve showing interest in what she likes or getting to know each other, while pulling can include physical touch and complimenting her. Story 59. I confessed I was interested when she asked but said I wasn't going to pursue it because I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. The first time this happened, she said she was interested too. I asked her on a date. She said yes but didn't show up. She asked me for food, and I bought it for her. She asked me to hang out, so I came for her and brought a jacket, but she wouldn't speak to me. After that, I texted her, and she ghosted me. The second time this happened, she tried to initiate intimacy with me because previous relationships had made her feel obligated to. But I told her she didn't have to do that because she had mentioned earlier that she didn't like it. She says that's when she fell in love with me. 7 months later, we're in a relationship that handles disagreements very healthily and still allows us to have fun together, mostly not involving intimacy. This feels like a win to me. Our families both say we are extremely lucky to have found each other and that we are the best people we've ever dated, and we both agree. Story 60. As long as the feeling is mutual, your efforts should be reciprocated, or you are wasting your time. It takes two to form a relationship, and both parties must put in the work to make it last. Story 61. This subreddit is unhelpful when it comes to dating advice for men. I am beginning to think that a significant number of the men here harbor negative views towards women, as they focus solely on the negatives and never take responsibility. It is always the woman's fault. Story 62. I would say, see us as sovereign human beings first and foremost. Even if you feel sexual or romantic attraction right away, consider that there's more value in getting to know and appreciate someone you potentially want in your life for the long term than in romanticizing or projecting onto them and only skimming the surface. If all you want is to have fun and leave, that's one thing. Be upfront with yourself about that. If you want to build a wholesome, grounded, and fulfilling relationship, then originality, reality, and transparency must all be prioritized. There's room for dreaming, but that should be approached with caution. Full disclosure, I'm more of a demisexual, so my perspective is somewhat biased. We all approach dating in our own unique ways or not, if we're caught up in some con artist's mass-produced 5-step program. Story 63. The most important part of dating is understanding what you are missing, which is likely causing many of your problems. Enjoy yourself, be playful, and challenge her a little without delving into boring topics. If you treat dates like a job interview, you will come across as dull. Do something active and have fun. Engage her in the way you usually would. If she doesn't like it, it's a sign that it's not a fit rather than a rejection. Story 64. You're overthinking and trying to maximize something that can't be maximized. People think you need to talk differently to women to attract them or act in a special way. This is far from the truth in my experience. It helps to be social, confident, relaxed, open-minded, and fun. None of these are necessities. Additionally, it's important not to be needy and to be fine with the possibility of spending time alone, and not in a cynical way. Be truly happy doing things you love. If you are reclusive and don't socialize much, it follows that you won't meet many new people. The few times you do, you may come across as awkward and stressed. This is not enjoyable for others, as overthinking and stress can affect those around you and ruin the atmosphere. Socializing without ulterior motives is the best way to build fun, relaxed connections with like-minded individuals. So, just focus on happiness and socializing. Things will happen naturally. The most important point is that you can't force anyone to like you. Just go with the flow. If they like you, continue the interaction. If not, accept it and move on. Story 65. If you are not seen as good enough to be a partner, you may end up being just another person that a certain woman settled for after pursuing men she was genuinely attracted to. Trust me, that is not a situation you want to find yourself in. I know many men who are married and have children, and they used their financial resources to attract their girlfriend or wife. If the man weren't an attorney, he would likely have no chance of having a relationship with that woman because, based on looks, she could find better partners. These women often do not respect their partners and may be waiting for the right moment to move on to someone else after ending their previous marriage. My advice would be to try to become intimate with her relatively soon without signaling that you are looking for a long-term relationship. If the woman is genuinely interested, you will naturally progress into a relationship with her, and there will be a genuine attraction on her side. Story 66. The way it works for me is that we both have to avoid showing our intense interest in each other during a date. When this is not happening, it is hard to even look into their eyes. Story 67. The balance I found that works well is the sex addict frame. The idea is that on a primal level, you acknowledge that you want the woman. However, on a higher cognitive level, you should be better disciplined and not indulge. This approach allows you to express your sexual intentions while still maintaining an aloof distance. This enables you to show your attraction with statements like, "I want you," while also conveying a sense of restraint with, "But I know I shouldn't do this." And voila, you have indicated your attraction while still playing hard to get, making your courtship more enjoyable for her. Story 68. I am not saying this is advice. This is just me thinking my own thoughts out loud. I believe that women are often not in control of their own minds, and that the men who most easily influence women's feelings and thoughts are the ones who achieve the most success. Story 69. Men do have it harder, especially at the beginning of the process when seeking dating partners. As a biological female, I can provide some insight. It is a numbers game. You likely aren't doing anything wrong. You just may not be compatible with the other person. Compatibility is honestly a lot rarer than people make it seem. I don't have my dating app statistics available to provide real numbers, but I probably went on dates with 20 to 30 different people before I found my current partner. Most of those dates did not go past a second meeting due to compatibility issues. Women may get more dates, but success is still largely a matter of luck and numbers. Dating can be challenging. I hated it and still dislike it. You have to sift through many difficulties to find something worthwhile. Story 70. It's not that hard. See us. Observe us. Stop trying to decode how to attract us. Start by seeing us as we are. I mean, no harm, and I say this with tenderness. If your list of points is too much for you, how are you ever going to sustain a relationship with a woman who is significantly more complex than this? My advice: really get to know us. Talk to us. Listen. Learn our nuances. It's not magic or rocket science. It's dedicated interest and a commitment to learning something that is both simple and complex. People do that in the workplace every day. Do it and you'll be the person who gets all the women. Story 71. Let her know from the start that you are pursuing something meaningful by giving her a compliment on her appearance while asking her on a date. Avoid playing games or acting hard to get, as it is a waste of time. Do not be overly accommodating or place her on a pedestal for merely existing. Be respectful, clear with your intentions, and maintain your composure. Show confidence, competence, and respectful behavior. Story 72. I don't view dating as a numbers game, but meeting different women certainly helps clarify what you want. It also assists in addressing any unresolved issues. Ultimately, you discover your comfort zone and voice. This does not guarantee that you will find the one, but it allows you to approach dating as a positive experience rather than a challenge, similar to spending time with a gentle person you need in your life. That said, I prefer not to force a date. I like it when the woman asks me out or when circumstances naturally lead to us having a drink together. Story 73. The dreaded friend zone is one of the most common pathways into a relationship with a woman. Men need to stop acting like the friend zone is a desert. It is not. It is the time she is taking to evaluate you, or it is an excuse because she was never interested in you in the first place. If you see the friend zone as a general waste of time, the problem is not with women. If you occasionally view it as a waste of time, that is a sign that you were only in it for the physical aspect, and it's safe to cut your losses. Story 74. Don't be physical too soon or she will think you only want sex. If you don't get physical soon enough, you risk being placed in the friend zone. Show interest, but not too much or you may appear desperate. Don't be too available at the start. Play hard to get. You need to escalate things, but not too soon or you might be perceived as love bombing. The rules I had set for myself regarding dating went out the window when I met my current partner. Instead of overthinking things, I trusted my instincts and enjoyed spending time with him. Of course, I still checked in with myself about certain things, such as how much I was texting him, but overall, I let things happen naturally. I knew that if he wanted to leave, he would, and I would do the same. However, we have been dating for 1 month and have been on 3 dates. In that time, he has shown interest, been available, and been physical, so I have stopped worrying about following any specific rules. Story 75. You'll be surprised how much easier it gets once you start basing your actions on what you want out of a situation with the girl you're seeing and not on what you think you're expected to do. Based on the points you touched on, be physical depending on the situation. If there is not much chemistry, but I am physically attracted to her, I would risk being physical more quickly as I know I am not interested in a serious relationship. Conversely, I wouldn't be physical right away if there is potential for a relationship, as I personally wouldn't date someone if I slept with them on the first date. My rule of thumb is to get a kiss by the end of the first date, ask them over by the third, and so on. You should build these rules yourself based on what works for you. I have found it comforting to have these guidelines, but sometimes women will surprise you and make a move first. I would show interest as long as it's being reciprocated. If you're always messaging first or continuously getting late responses, move on. Let them know you're interested and want to hang out, but don't keep asking more than you would anyone else outside of dating. Pursue women who are into you as well. Don't play hard to get. Have a life outside of dating so that you're not available all the time and at their disposal, rather than just trying to appear busy. When I start seeing someone, I make time to see them once a week. If someone is constantly unavailable, they're not interested. Move on. My last point, which I feel is important, is that I don't exclusively date one person while in the seeing stage. When I feel that the attraction is mutual and I'm interested in pursuing a relationship with her, I subsequently focus solely on her. This prevents you from getting desperate and allows you to weigh your options. Story 76. Be a normal person, talk to them, and get to know them. If you have an interest, tell them. If they don't feel the same, get over it and move on. Story 77. You start talking to her. If you like her, do 2 things. 1. Ask about her favorite books, movies, or TV shows. This gives you both an idea of overall compatibility and shows that you're interested in her on an intellectual and emotional level, not just physical. Ask her out within the first 20 minutes. Specifically, use the word date. Choose something outdoors or in a public space where you can both meet at the location, so she doesn't feel uncomfortable being alone with someone she barely knows. Consider going to a park, playing mini golf, or playing regular golf if you're both golfers. Aim for a setting with people around, like walking on a boardwalk or visiting a museum. Avoid hiking in the woods or any situations where she's alone with you too soon. Movies are not a good choice, as you can't really talk to each other during a film unless she suggests it because a movie she's been waiting for is opening soon. A great choice could be a ballroom dance class. Search for ballroom dance classes near me. Many dance studios offer no-contract classes that are around $10. Dancing helps you break the touch barrier almost immediately, and she likely wants you to because that's how dancing works. If you're not a good dancer, that's okay. It's not that hard, and learning something together is a great way to build emotional bonds. If the first or second date goes really well, you can show interest and respect her boundaries by saying, "I'd really like to kiss you," unless you have some objection. As for being overly affectionate, just avoid going overboard. How would you feel if you went on a date with a girl and the next day, after only one date, she sent you numerous texts about how great it was, showed up in your office with cookies in the morning, and returned in the afternoon with a basket of muffins, plus posted a picture of the two of you inside a heart? Wouldn't you find that a little excessive? Don't do the male version of that. Story 78. There are two aspects to this. 1. Be honest about your intentions. Tell a woman you would like to get to know her better and invite her out for a drink, dinner, or something else. Regarding the games, if she is worth being with, she won't scorn you for being direct and won't make you jump through hoops. Some women may play hard to get, but avoid pursuing those who engage in that behavior. In terms of physical intimacy, communicate openly and pay attention. When you go on dates with someone, they will give clear signs of being open to physical affection, whether it's holding hands, kissing, or more. After a date or two, focus on communication. Confident and open conversation should be the standard in a relationship. It involves putting yourself out there. If you are too scared to take that risk, then don't make the attempt. A good person will not make you play any weird games. Be respectful of the other person, and if they are worth having, they will be respectful of you. Lastly, take no for an answer. Whether it's expressing interest in going on a date or attempting to engage in something physical, understand that confusion often arises from wanting something the woman does not. The real question to consider is, how do I get what I want? Story 79. You should maintain a low energy level and stay attentive. The right women will respect this and show interest in you. Story 80. Don't be physical too soon, or she may think you only want a sexual relationship. If you don't get physical soon enough, you may end up in the friend zone. Show interest, but not excessively, or you may come off as desperate. Don't be too available at the start. Play hard to get. You need to escalate things, but not too quickly, or you risk overwhelming the other person. They're not saying, don't get physical too soon. They're indicating that you shouldn't proceed with physical contact if the other person clearly isn't interested. It seems you might be struggling with your own negative qualities, which you feel the need to conceal. Everything on that list represents behavior that a healthy person would naturally exhibit, just as one would not begrudge the act of walking. Story 81. I have come to realize that most things in life are a tightrope to navigate, finding the balance to get it right without falling into one of two extremes. However, mastering this can feel rewarding. Dating is no different. It is challenging, but the potential payoff is worthwhile. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.